Hi everybody, I'd just like to say that welcome to the new subscribers. I got a bit of a boost because of that video that I did a couple of days ago. I wasn't expecting it to get all those views, I was expecting it to get the usual amount, but instead I got quite a few. Before I go into this video, I would just like to say that, yeah, that video was purely hypothetical. I did tell you guys to treat it with a grain of salt and to watch the actual video I was riffing off of, and to come to your own conclusions, and most of you did, thankfully. Some of you not so much, you didn't quite get what I was trying to do, and yeah, it was a lazy video. Yes, it was unscripted. This video is also unscripted, that's just how I do things. But regardless, just so you know guys, it was a hypothetical thing. I wasn't literally saying this has happened. So yeah, nor was it a review like somebody tried to make out, as if I was reviewing these bad shows. Like, nigga, I wouldn't even try to review shows that I don't watch. You know, that doesn't make sense. I have done reviews of shows on this channel. In fact, I do need to complete a review, which I haven't done for nearly a year now. But do I really want to watch the last part of Rick and Morty Season 3, the worst one ever? I don't know. But don't worry. Don't worry about it, guys. But anyway, onto the video itself. So Gab recently decided to ban Loli Con material from its website. Now, what is Loli Con and what is Gab? Well, Gab is the right-wing conservative Twitter alternative. It's the competition. And that's to pride itself as being a free speech platform. In fact, it's so free speech, you can't even block people on there. Instead, I think you mute people or something like that. I don't know. They're very against blocking, but more on that later. Meanwhile, Loli Con is essentially the Japanese hentai art, which describes a fascination with cartoons of very young looking girls engaged in varying degrees of erratic behaviour. It's usually depicting girls between the age of 12 and 16, and I have also seen adult women also portrayed as girls in this art form. It's a very diverse art form, and it's in a bit of a legal grey area. Some places have it illegal, some places don't have it illegal, others have not really made a decision either way. But regardless, it is what it is. It's not real. It's basically manga, hentai, anime stuff. It's comics, essentially. It's artwork. Also, technically speaking, it's not paedophilic, it's hebephilic, because the girls depicted are not young children in the literal sense. They're in fact just about entering puberty, just about leaving puberty if it's 16. And in some places in the world, 16 is the age of consent, although not the age of consent when it comes to pornographic material, and so that technically would not be illegal. But again, I don't know. It's frowned upon in the West, but it isn't in Japan. But again, it depends whereabouts in the West you actually are. Now, why did Gab ban this? Now, this is what they said first. Andrew Torbert, the founder of Gab, said, "Real simple, we don't welcome that garbage here. Take it to Mastodon if you want to share cartoons depicting the abuse, nudity and sexual fetishization of children, which is illegal in many countries. Debate the legal grey area in the US all you want. But to us, 18 USC 1466A is pretty clear, and I think 99% of people would agree with us. Loli is cancer and demonic." And of course, he's definitely not down with the whole "it's just a cartoon, man" argument, and it believes that it's a slippery slope into the legalization of paedophilia. Yes, he does believe in that. He does believe that fictional artwork can lead to such things, even though it hasn't happened in Japan in how many decades? Say, whatever. And then after a bit of a backlash on Twitter and online, this is what else he had to say, where he tries to basically backpedal slightly. He tries to rephrase what he's trying to say. Lewd Loli is not allowed, and never has been by the way, because it is a legal grey area in the United States at the federal level and illegal at the state level in the many states. Anime, manga and hentai that is properly tagged NSFW are of course allowed. I don't know why this is difficult for someone to understand. We aren't waging war on anime fans or something. No lewd Loli. This platform policy, which is grounded in legal implication of US law, is separate from my personal opinion of lewd Loli, which is that it is demonic, degenerate garbage. Well, the thing is, 20 states have it illegal, but the rest do not. So I don't buy that he's just protecting his ass. And if it's a legal grey area in federal law, then that means that the federal government hasn't actually made a actual definitive statement on the legality of this content. Therefore, I don't buy his reasons for that. I really do think that he banned it purely because he does not like it. Why else would he phrase it in emotional language in his initial outburst on Gab? And why would he just ban it like that out of the blue and claim that it's always been banned? Well, apparently how can it be when people have been posting it on Gab before, and as far as I know, they haven't been banned until very recently. So I find that hard to believe. Also, remember when I mentioned that he doesn't like blocking people? Well, it turns out he does like blocking people. On Twitter, that is. Loli Con News, which I guess is some kind of place where Loli is collected and shared on Twitter. Gab blocks people on Twitter while having a website that has no block option and that has constantly encouraged people on Twitter and Twitter itself to mute people instead of blocking them. Hypocrisy from the East Coast version of Twitter's jack-off. And then Gab tried to justify this by saying that's called freedom of association. We don't want to be associated with people who post and support cartoons depicting children being sexually abused and tortured. That seems like a fancy way of saying let me be a hypocrite. Now, I do agree with freedom of association, and I do agree with anybody can have any opinion they want on these things. I personally don't like Loli Con, it's just not a thing that I'm interested in. But it is fiction, it's not real, and in fact there is an argument to be raised that due to its fictional nature, and due to the fact that it isn't depicting real people, this could be used as a way to funnel paedophiles or hebophiles, whatever you want to call them, desires into something more safe, for lack of a better word. Rather than going out there and actually buying underground child porn, which actually endangers real people and actually has to require the use of real people, legalizing lolicon may actually solve that problem. If they find a way to indulge their desires in a legal way that isn't actually going to harm anybody, it's literally just drawings, they're not real people, anime doesn't require an actual person to sit there and be drawn, then that might save loads of children. And I kind of buy that argument, so I don't understand why he's really against this other than he's conservative, and he clearly has a lack of understanding on Japanese culture and lolicon. Even me, with a limited understanding, knows that it's not real. And this is the thing, it's fiction, it's not real, and yet he seems to think that this fictional content can somehow influence Western society to make paedophilia legal when actually it isn't, and it hasn't done it in Japan either. I don't buy his reasons for this. I think he's literally just becoming like Jack. Again, if you stare into the abyss stares back into you. I do see his later reasoning, but again, I don't think it's grounds to ban it outright, considering in the US it's such a grey area, and federally it is not illegal, even if in some states it is. So again, it's a bit of a cop-out for him to say that. And it pretty much shows that, yeah, you know, the right wing can still censor people, they can still be hypocritical on this, and it shows that, you know, he doesn't like conservatives being censored on Twitter, but he's perfectly fine with censoring things that he considers degenerate. I do think it's interesting that on Twitter that lolicon is not banned, it is not illegal. I don't think it's necessarily encouraged, but look at Shadman, he's still there, he's still winding people up on both sides. In fact, I think at one point there was even a campaign to get him banned, not just from SJWs, but from right-wing tradcons. It's just interesting that these people who don't like the left censorship suddenly become NPCs themselves when shit like this happens, when they don't like things that they find degenerate, because this is something that both SJWs and the extreme right don't like. And it's interesting when the horseshoe meets. But hey, anyway, like I said, this is all I can really say, so until next time guys, I'll see you later.